Now, KZI 9 News at 4, the hunt for a cougar in Springfield. That animal spotted on Sunday was spotted again today. We're going to show you where.
Plus, the smoking ban in Eugene is expanding in the downtown core, but will it end there? We'll explain coming up. And we're still tracking some hot temperatures as well as some smoky skies. I'll have details about where we're at right now and where we're headed through this week as KEZI 9 News at 4 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4.
Well, did you feel them? 11 earthquakes struck off the southern Oregon and northern California coast throughout the day today. The largest one so far was a 5.6. That was about 130 miles off the coast of Gold Beach, about 7:45 this morning. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Bob Shaper.
And I'm China Green. And this sudden of clusters of earthquakes had us thinking about the possibility of the big one and how prepared the city of Eugene is if that earthquake were to strike. KZI 9 News reporter Madison Glassman did some digging online and found some misleading things about the city's plan. Madison, can you clarify some of these things for us?
That's right, Bob and China. In a document from Eugene Risk Services, it states that distribution centers are in place for after a quake. Same thing for shelters. Now, this may seem alarming or even confusing to some people. That's why I sat down with an official from emergency management to clarify some of this for us. Now, Patience Whittingham tells me they do have distribution sites already designated. She says these were set in place a few years ago. They're in heavily populated areas that are easy to get to. However, she tells me they're not releasing this information, and here's why. Whittingham says it all comes down to not wanting to make promises they can't keep. She says if something goes wrong, they may have to move locations, causing confusion in the community. I spoke with one man downtown who says if disaster hits, he's ready.
My wife is great. She's got everything prepared, actually. She's probably got more stuff than I even know about. So water, food supplies, I chop some wood and have that laying around, and we do have some family members that I think we could also seek out for help if we need something.
Now, the document does state that information about distribution centers and shelters isn't released because the impact of an earthquake is unknown, making it difficult to advertise the sites. Now, Whittingham says the city of Eugene and Springfield do have plans set in place for when quakes hit, and I'll go more into that coming up on KEZI 9 News at 5. For now, reporting live in Eugene, Madison Glassman, KEZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
And above the surface, we are still focused on the heat and also the smoky skies across western Oregon. We do have a heat advisory still in place for the Willamette Valley, and it has been extended all the way until Thursday evening now, meaning we are still going to see some hot temperatures. And yes, it is hot outside. 96 in Corvallis, 95 in Eugene right now, 97 in Cottage Grove, 98 in Roseburg. Up in the mountains, even looking at the low 80s across the passes, but of course keeping it cooler along the coastline at this moment. Now, we're not at our high temperature just yet. We usually see our high temperature closer to the 6 o'clock hour, so we have a chance to warm. We could actually reach 100 degrees today. Live look over Eugene, though, mostly clear skies. You can still see some haze out in the distance. I am watching air quality. I'll have an update on that. It's not terrible right now. I'll have more details in just a bit. But again, it's 95 at this moment, and temperatures are going to slowly cool as we move into tonight, eventually falling into the 50s in most spots as we get into early tomorrow morning. Low 60s, though, in the Umpqua Basin. I'll have a closer look, though, at where our temperatures are headed throughout this week, as well as look ahead towards the weekend coming up in just a bit. Bob and China.
All right, Marissa, thank you. We have an update now on that deadly officer-involved shooting at a marijuana farm in Cottage Grove. The DA today says it was justified. 40-year-old Joey Loop right there was a security guard for the One Grow marijuana farm where the shooting happened almost 2 weeks ago. Deputies say they got reports he was drunk and had fired his gun multiple times. They say they tried to get him to come out of the building for hours, but when he did, he took a gun out of his holster about 10 feet away from deputies. They say they thought he was going to shoot them, so they fired. The CEO of the marijuana company says Loop was battling depression. And a man accused of hitting another man with a machete is facing an assault charge. Police say 2 men got into a fight yesterday afternoon at East 11th and Willamette. They say Sean Tier hit 37-year-old Blake Jackson in the head, and Jackson hit him back with a machete. While they struggled, somebody walked off with that knife. Tier was cited for disorderly conduct and released. Officers eventually did find the machete.
Well, the on-ramp from Highway 99 to the Beltline heading eastbound is back open. Crews spent the afternoon cleaning up a tipped-over semi that was hauling plywood. It happened around 11:15 this morning in Eugene. State police say the driver was taking the ramp when the load shifted, causing the truck to tip over. Some of the load did spill. OSP tells us no other vehicles were involved. They also tell us the driver walked away with minor scratches. While no citations have been issued yet, officers say they're still investigating. And a bicyclist is recovering in the hospital after riding into the path of a passing driver. The accident happened this morning in Eugene. It was on East 18th Avenue and Hilliard Street. Investigators say the bicyclist entered the intersection when the passing driver had a green light. Officers say the bicyclist is at fault in the accident, but they are expected to be okay.
That's good news. All right, we're following up now with last night's Eugene City Council meeting where a controversial buffer zone between marijuana stores was approved. The new law says that future pot shops must be at least 1,000 feet away from existing stores. It was approved by a 5-3 vote. And councilors also decided to ban smoking in the downtown core.
Yeah, the tough new law means that smoking is illegal in downtown plazas such as Kesey Square, along with sidewalks and alleys. Businesses that want to opt out of the smoking ban can apply to the city manager for an exemption. Also, businesses outside downtown can apply to opt into the ban. The vote passed by vote of 6-2. That new law will take effect 30 days after Mayor Lucy Vinis signs it. And we're getting a lot of Facebook feedback about this ban. Carla says, quote, another holier than thou action. Do they ever do anything that matters? And Karen says, how petty. Bigger problems downtown than smokers.
Jonathan, though, says he's in favor. These bans give people who don't want to be exposed to secondhand smoke tools to tell smokers to take their cancer sticks somewhere else. Of course, this isn't the last we're going to hear about this ban. Councilor Greg Evans said they plan to take the ban citywide, and he's calling this a first important step.
Yeah, and KZI 9 News reporter Michael Severin shows us what local businesses outside of the downtown core are planning to do now that this ban has been expanded.
Bob China, I'm on 11th Avenue, and right across the street here is where there's the smoking ban, but on this side of the street, that ban isn't being affected. But city leaders tell me that before the ban goes into effect, they'll have a website up where property owners can either opt in or opt out to be part of this ban. Now take a look at this map here. Inside the blue areas is where the ban will take effect 30 days after the mayor signs it. Outside of the downtown core, any property owner in the city can opt in. Doesn't matter if you're on Coburg Road or wherever. Now, workers at Peak Medical Clinic, which is located just outside the ban area, says they're interested in joining up and would support a citywide ban on public right-of-ways.
Especially with our patients coming in and out of the parking lot and up and down the street, we don't want them exposed to, toxins and the smoking that is frequent.
Currently, Eugene Station is not in the smoke-free zone. A spokeswoman for LTD tells me they plan to opt in for not just the downtown station, but all bus stops in Eugene to help enforce the policies they already have. City leaders tell me that right now there is not a citywide ban. Now, the mayor is expected to sign this ordinance into law later this week. Coming up at 5, hear from smokers and how they're reacting to the ban. Reporting live in downtown Eugene, I'm Michael Severin, KEZI 9 News.
All right, Michael, thank you. Good job. Now, today is the deadline for campers to leave the Portland Ice Building or face fine. They could even be arrested.
Yeah, but as Tim Gordon shows us, the Occupy Ice Camp doesn't seem to be clearing out very quickly.
On the south side of the camp, there is some clearing out going on. Protesters who've camped here, some for weeks, are packing up and leaving. On the other end of camp, there's lots of stuff, but pretty quiet. It's hard to tell how many protesters remain inside the camp. This man plans to stay put. His message, ICE shouldn't exist.
This country was built on the backs of immigrants. You, me, all of us. Trace the lineage back far enough. Everyone comes from someone else.
After 5 weeks of intentional inaction and support for the cause, Portland's mayor said disruption to neighbors had reached a breaking point.
To all demonstrators, I urge you to keep up this effort. It's time to move on to the second phase of this, to a more sustainable front.
And then late yesterday, the vacate notices went up. They say today is the day to leave or face a citation or arrest. One neighbor supports protesters and their mission.
I feel like they should be able to stay. I mean, things don't seem to change nationally on the news. Like they have all these proclamations that things are all better, but they're not.
But these walkers are ready to get back to their normal routine.
No, it's about time they got out of here and let us have our city back so that we can have the freedom to walk where we want to walk.
We all love our children and we all want to protect our children. So I hear that message and I would love to have that be more fair. And so I understand the reason for protest. It's just, as Steve says, I would like to have my normal walk.
Yeah, no word yet on when Portland police or anyone else with the city will start forcing people to leave. Another group called Abolish ICE said that they'd leave the camp, but they say the site is still a place for vigils and other direct actions.
Also in Portland, Nike announced it's increasing the wages of 7,000 workers. That's about 10% of the company's workforce. The wage increase comes after Nike said they want to support a culture in which employees feel included and empowered. All right, we are continuing our coverage coming up on the fight against the South Umpqua complex. New at 4:30, we're going to take a look at how far that battle has spread and who it's now impacting.
But first, the Corvallis Boys and Girls Club is expanding. That will now be able to help teens with their new health center.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4 with China Green, Bob Schaefer, and Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
We have a positive story for you on this Tuesday afternoon. The Corvallis Boys and Girls Club making significant progress on their new teenage health center. This is since we visited them back in April.
Yeah, our crews toured the soon-to-be Johnson Center for Youth Excellence earlier today. Crews have built the foundation of the two-story facility and are now making finishing touches by adding flooring as well as installing electrical needs. The CEO of the Corvallis Boys and Girls Club says the first floor will have programs to improve graduation rates and workforce participation, and the second floor will have doctors and medical professionals from Samaritan Hospital, so teens can have easy access to health services in a setting they already trust.
So we tend to see that young adults tend to stop going to the doctor once they're not little kids anymore, and so this is really going to be putting those services right where our teens are and making it very accessible.
She says the center will open on September 5th and they will have a community celebration on September 7th.
And speaking of expansions, very soon there will be another pool in the area for you and your family to enjoy. River Roads Park and Rec has been revamping their 1960s era wading pool. Now the pool will be complete with some new spray features and it'll be wheelchair accessible too. It's a project that has cost about $300,000. The district was able to get about $190,000 from the Oregon Parks Foundation, and they have funded the rest themselves.
I'm just excited to get it open again. It's a really, really fun part of the community to have this wading pool for Park District patrons.
It's free for kids in the district, and for kids out of the district, it'll be $1. It should be open around the beginning of August, just in time.
Just in time for the heat. Oh, well, the heat is already here, but we're going to get to traffic first. Live look over Corvallis here. The traffic, some slower traffic to the north of the city coming in and going out. Same thing as you're working your way to the west-southwest. We'll slide into Albany. Definitely seeing some slower traffic here too on your way to Beltline, or excuse me, I-5 this evening, and also just to the south of the city. And finally, also looking at some slower traffic just to the north of Tangent here. I'll have a close look though at what your morning commute could look like tomorrow morning, and if we're going to see some smoky skies or some coastal fog. I'll have more details coming up next.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Well, yes, we are dealing with the heat, but we're also dealing with some of the smoke from nearby wildfires. And you can see most of the fires, again, are still burning just to our south, southeast, and a few more farther to the east. But most of our winds at the surface, luckily, are still out of the north, northwest, which is keeping our air quality all right. But we are still seeing some poor air quality in a few spots. And a reminder, we do have an air quality alert in place now through Thursday morning for those of you in the Umpqua Basin. Now, here's us look at our air quality right now. We are still in the good to moderate range, but if you're headed south down into Medford, Ashland, Grants Pass, Cave Junction, Klamath Falls, everyone is in the unhealthy range down there. So we are much better off looking at good in Corvallis and then moderate everywhere else. Now, I'll keep you posted throughout this evening if it does get any worse, but I actually expect us to mainly stay in the good to moderate range. But boy, is it toasty outside right now. We are looking at the mid to upper 90s across the area, about 10 degrees, if not a little bit more above normal for this time of year. So yes, we do see the heat during the summer months. It's just not this summer month. We usually see some 90s in August. So this is very early and very unusual. Out along the coast, though, a much different story, keeping it cool. Highs in the upper 50s near 60 degrees. We are mostly clear here in western Oregon, but yes, you do see some thunderstorms firing into central Oregon, something we don't want to see this time of year because everything is so dry and we're getting a lot of lightning. And if you notice, not really too much green, so not much rain. Hopefully we don't get any new wildfires started from those lightning strikes. Out along the coast, a bit of a different story. Marine clouds are just offshore at this moment, but they are going to continue to push onshore as we head into this evening and linger all the way into tomorrow morning. So on Storm Checker 9 Stormcast by midnight tonight, marine clouds are back along the coast. Inland, though, we're still mostly clear. Then as we fast forward through 6 a.m., not much of a change along the coast and also not much of a change inland. But once we get closer to lunchtime, we'll still be sunny inland. Marine clouds will push just offshore, and then we'll keep it mostly sunny until we move into the evening, and those marine clouds will push back on in. So the cycle continues along the coast with the marine clouds. Inland will stay with mostly clear skies. Temperatures tomorrow will be even a little bit warmer than today. We'll see highs into the mid to upper 90s, near 100 degrees in the Umpqua Basin, and tomorrow's not the only day that is going to be this warm. Luckily, there's a place to head to escape the heat. The coast, we will stay in the mid 60s for tomorrow afternoon and should see a decent amount of sunshine for the middle part of the day and through the early afternoon. But 7-day forecast along the coast, we'll continue to see the pattern of the marine clouds pushing in the evening, then moving out by mid-morning. Highs will stay in the low 60s and lows will stay in the low 50s. Now, for those of you in the Umpqua Basin, though, we are looking at 2 days of near 100-degree temperatures, and then after that, still in the mid-90s through at least Sunday, though there does look like we're going to get some relief from the heat coming in towards the start of next week. And as of right now, relief from the heat means upper 80s. So we'll take that because that is a big improvement from 100 degrees. For those of you in the Cascades or headed that way, 80s this weekend. There are a lot of places, again, if you're camping, that you're not allowed to campfire, but expect temperatures to be on the warmer side, even overnight. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, looking at temperatures to be in the mid-90s both today, or excuse me, tomorrow. Well, they're in the 90s today. Tomorrow and Thursday, low 90s on Friday, still in the 90s through the weekend, but there is some relief again coming next week. So upper 80s, if that makes you feel better and hopeful, look at those numbers because all the numbers ahead of it, yeah, way hot.
And, you know, we complain about it and we joke about it a little bit, but it really is dangerous out there for certain people of the population, and the air quality is not getting any better either. All right, so keep an eye on your neighbors. Thank you very much, Marissa.
All right, now to a consumer alert. Pepperidge Farm is recalling some of its goldfish crackers. They've been notified by an ingredient supplier that whey powder in one of the seasonings has the potential presence of salmonella. They are recalling 4 varieties of goldfish, including my favorite, the Flavor Blasted Extra Cheddar, sour cream and onion, baked with whole grain cheddar and extra cheddar plus pretzel. So if you have purchased any of these products, do not eat them. And health news, a new sparkling water study says a carbonated beverage is just as hydrating as regular water. Researchers found the only difference between the two beverages is that carbonated water may run through your body faster. But when it comes to working out, health experts say go for the flat water because carbonated water can cause bloating. And
recent research shows that sports drinks are still a popular choice among teenagers, especially high among not just athletic teens, but sedentary teens as well, and that's not good. The study says that families often think that sports drinks are a healthy alternative to soda. However, that is not the case. Doctors say most sweetened sports drinks have about the same amount of sugar as a can of soda.
Treat a sports drink like you would a can of soda or even a glass of juice, which we regularly talk to families about is not necessarily healthier, although it might have some added vitamins and minerals that some other products don't have. It's still basically liquid sugar, and children, especially those who are sedentary, do not need additional sugar-sweetened beverages.
Doctors say if a child is doing very intense exercise for more than 60 minutes, they might need extra sources of carbohydrates, but this can be accomplished through eating fresh or dried fruit rather than sugar-sweetened sports drinks. Still ahead on KZI 9 News at 4, we're going to introduce you to a sweet furry lug in need of a great forever home. He's got a lot of energy. Pet of the week next.
Welcome back. It's time for Pet of the Week, and today we have Janice from Green Hill Humane Society who brought us Cooper. Tell us a little bit about him.
Cooper is a rock star. He is a 6.5-year-old pit bull terrier mix. That's a term we use when dogs have most likely several different breeds in them.
Right.
He does have quite a large head. Could be some Mastiff in there.
Right.
Anyway, he was brought to Green Hill when his owner could no longer care for him. He is very mellow and calm. He has excellent manners.
Right.
He knows sit and down.
Oh, that's always big
And
ones to know.
Yes, yes. And he has a really good history living with other dogs and multiple cats.
Yeah, well, he seems to be, very calm, relaxed, and ready to go here. There's the ball. There we go. But yeah, no, he's great. Seems like be a great dog. And you said great with other dogs, family members.
Yes,
He'd be good.
He could live with children of any age. He's a very gentle dog. He is large, but he's a gentle giant, and so he loves to snuggle, lean in for hugs. He would just be an all-around great addition to your family.
And good with walks, I'm sure. Getting out and about.
He's very good on the leash. Rides well in the car, and just I can't see enough good things about him. His adoption fee is $175.
Great. Well, I'm sure we can hopefully help get him adopted there. Now, you also mentioned you have a big fundraiser going on.
We do have a fundraiser tomorrow night. We will be howling at the moon, so come out to Starlight Lounge tomorrow, Thursday, July 26th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. There will be $1 from every beverage sold donated toward the animals at Green Hill, and we're looking forward to having a great time. We'd love to see you out there.
All right, great. Well, if you're interested in adopting Cooper or any pet at Green Hill, you can get a hold of them at 541-689-1503. Remember, all animals are being housed at the First Avenue Shelter as construction underway. More information on our website, kzi.com.
Cooper is just a big, lovely teddy bear, isn't he? I love that
Very
dog.
energetic.
All right. Good luck to him. Speaking of dogs, they're proving they really are man's best friend. A new study suggests dogs can tell when their owner is in need, and then they move quickly to help.
Yeah, researchers found that animals get to their owners faster when they make crying sounds rather than when they hum a tune. Although the data is limited, the study could shed light on the complex relationships between dogs and their owners. And we're continuing our coverage on the fight against the South Umpqua complex in Douglas County. New at 4:30, we take a look at how far the battle has spread and who it's now impacting.
Plus, the search for a missing college student in Iowa coming up for the first time since her disappearance. We're going to hear the urgent plea from her family and friends. And do you have a tip or story idea? Because we need to hear it. You can email us at listens@kzi.com or give us a call at 284-KEZI. We'll be right back with KZI 9 News at 4:30. A lot cooler on the coast. We'll be right back.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4.
Now to an update on the cougar roaming around Springfield. The animal has been spotted again, and now Springfield police are actively looking for the animal. It was spotted just after 1 this afternoon near Olympic and 30th this morning. A KZI 9 News viewer reported seeing it near Walmart on Olympic and 28th. The cougar was first spotted early Sunday morning near 10th Street and D, and hours later police found it jumping fences in an alley near 1200 block of E Street. And today's sighting came as kind of a shock, as yesterday experts with Oregon Fish and Wildlife said that he believed the cougar had moved on.
Yeah, KZI 9 News reporter Macy Heidland looked into this today. She's live in Springfield right now at the spot of today's cougar sighting. And Macy, they're looking for that animal right now.
Well, Bob, China, yeah, we are here at the site where Springfield police have been searching after that one sighting just past 1 o'clock. You can see right there that red truck. Now, that's what their tracking dog came in. They are using some canine assistance to look for the cougar today. And behind that is a white animal control vehicle. Now, just up the road by the Walmart on Olympic and 28th is where, Devin Ogden saw the first one this morning. And he tells me that this was a pretty scary thing to start his day. The first cougar sighting happened over the weekend on Sunday. Now, that was actually near Two Rivers, Dos Rios Elementary School. Even with school being out, that really added a danger factor for a lot of people in the area. And in this morning's sighting, Ogden says he was sure it was a cougar that ran out in front of him. He says it was a large animal with a long tail, likely 150 to 200 pounds.
little freaky, I guess. Didn't expect to see a cougar right there in town, but I figured I'd better let people know.
When we spoke to the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, they said they believe the cougar had moved on, but if it was still in town, it may have been in a good hiding spot. They recommend if you encounter the cougar to stay calm, stand your ground, and allow it to escape. It'll likely retreat. Coming up on KEZI 9 News at 5, I'll give you a better look at why cougars and other wildlife animals find themselves in city limits. I'll tell you a little bit more about that on KEZI 9 News at 5. Reporting live in Springfield, Macy Highland, KEZI 9 News.
All right, Macy, thank you. Be careful out there. All right, we now turn to Fire Watch and the continuing fight against the South Umpqua Complex. It has now burned over 6,000 acres in southern Douglas and northern Jackson counties.
And KZI 9 News reporter Tyler Jones is at the snowshoe fire where nearly 50 homes are threatened.
I'm near the border of Douglas and Jackson counties in the southwestern portion of the Umpqua National Forest, where the snowshoe fire has become the #1 priority for crews out here in the South Umpqua Complex fire. Until Monday, the Miles fire was the top priority for the South Umpqua Complex fire crews. But the Jackson County Sheriff's Office issued a level 2 evacuation notice on Monday near the snowshoe fire, affecting 49 homes. Fire crews have been working on aggressively attacking the south end of the snowshoe fire and are now more optimistic about containing this nearly 2,200-acre fire than they have been over the last 2 days. The amount of smoke in the area has limited the air crews, but officials are hopeful that they can get aerial support soon.
One of the things that we're hoping for is the air will clear up a little bit and the smoke will be blown out so we can use a lot of the airships, the helicopters, because we have 5 helicopters on this incident.
With danger potentially around every corner out here in the forest, crews are working to make sure not only they are protected, but the public are safe from any danger from these fires as well. In Jackson County, Tyler Jones, KEZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
And all the fires burning in our area are leading to some concerns about our air quality. We're mainly seeing some big impacts a little bit farther to the south. We actually do have an air quality alert in place for part of our area, and we're mainly looking at portions of Douglas County here in western Oregon, but this does extend even farther to the south. It goes until 11 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, so we do still have about another 2 days of that. We are looking at some areas of smoky skies, but here's a look at our current air quality across the area. Many of us are in the good to moderate range at this hour. We are getting close to the unhealthy for sensitive group range in Cottage Grove, but I do expect us to mainly stay in the moderate and good range as we move into tonight. Again, this smoke is from the nearby wildfires burning into southern Oregon for the most part. It's a little bit smoky here through the Umpqua Basin, but it is also hot. 98 degrees right now. We're likely to tack on a few more degrees. I'll have a closer look at how warm we could get this afternoon, as well as how warm our temperatures are going to get the rest of the week coming up in just a bit. Bob and China.
All right, Marissa, thank you. Now to the latest on that search for a missing college student from Iowa. 20-year-old Molly Tibbetts disappeared 6 days ago while she was out on a run.
Hundreds have come together to join the search, and now we are hearing from her mother and boyfriend. ABC's Maggie Rulli spoke with them and has their plea for help.
The search is growing more desperate for Molly Tibbetts, the missing University of Iowa student who police say disappeared while out on a jog last Wednesday.
She is kind, sweet, caring. She'll do anything for anybody.
Her boyfriend, Dalton Jack, tells ABC News that Tibbetts was dog sitting on the night she disappeared while he was working a construction job about 50 miles away.
She was by herself, so she was watching the dogs.
The next morning, she never showed up for work, and Jack says he realized she had never opened his texts.
I was like, well, that's not like her.
The worry quickly growing. Tibbetts' mother says her daughter was excited about her upcoming sophomore year, telling ABC News the uncertainty has been excruciating, and there are no words to describe how you feel when you don't know where or how your child is. So far, the most investigators have to go on what they say the psychology major was wearing last Wednesday night: gym shorts, a black sports bra, and running shoes. Her wallet and identification all left behind at the apartment she shares with Jack.
We've got the State Patrol airplane up, and we've had some helicopters from local hospitals helping us out as well.
Officials are monitoring her cell phone. It's the only real possession she's believed to have had on her at the time. And now the FBI is expected to help in the search. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
All right, Mackie, thanks. We're now learning that the Trader Joe's employee that was killed in a shootout Saturday was shot by a police officer. That's the conclusion of an investigation from the Los Angeles Police Department. Melinda Ducato was working as an assistant manager at the store when police say Gene Atkins crashed a car outside. They say he had been running from police after an early shooting. When Atkins dashed into the store, a shootout between officers and the suspect took place. Corrado was shot and killed during the hours-long standoff.
In Fresno, a gang of women accused of taking more than 100 pairs of yoga pants from Lululemon. This happened on Sunday, and Fresno police are still looking for the suspects. Officials say they took $10,000 worth of merchandise in just a matter of minutes. Detectives think these women have hit up other chains in California. Now to New Hampshire, where a naked man was arrested at Planet Fitness for indecent exposure. Police say the man walked into the gym and removed his clothes. He walked back and forth a couple times before settling in on the yoga mats. When officers arrived, they found him completely nude in a yoga-type position. They say the man is not a member of that gym. He was arrested without incident and was charged with indecent exposure and lewdness and disorderly conduct and everything else. Police said the only statement the man made was that he thought Planet Fitness was a judgment-free zone. Not so much. There are limits to everything. All right, covering the Capitol now. After questioning the U.S. intelligence community's assessment that Russia meddled in the U.S. election, President Trump today suggests they could still be targeting the midterms.
Yeah, but the big question now is this all to help Democrats? ABC's Serena Marshall has the latest.
The president with a new concern when it comes to Russian election meddling. Tweeting today, "I'm very concerned that Russia will be fighting very hard to have an impact on the upcoming election. Based on the fact that no president has been tougher on Russia than me, they will be pushing very hard for the Democrats. They definitely don't want Trump." A U.S. intelligence official tells ABC News, "We've seen nothing that would support that." But the president's claim came after he's repeatedly cast doubt Russia even meddled in the U.S. election and continues to meddle. Last week, he offered this qualifier as he simultaneously said he backed the intelligence community's assessment.
Russia's meddling in the 2016 election took place. Could be other people also.
And a day later, when asked by ABC's Cecilia Vega,
"Is Russia still targeting the U.S., Mr. President?"
Thank you very
let's
much.
go. Make your way out. No, you don't believe that to be the case?
the White House later said the president was simply saying no to taking questions, even as he responded to another reporter's question immediately after. His own director of national intelligence called the Russian interference a blinking red light. And during the Aspen Security Summit,
it's undeniable that the Russians are taking the lead on this.
The earlier intelligence community assessment found the Russians' efforts were favoring Mr. Trump in 2016, and Putin himself, when asked directly last week if he had wanted to see Trump elected president, responded,
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because he talked about bringing the U.S.-Russia relationship back to normal.
The tweet comes as the Senate has announced a series of hearings on Russia, and a new bipartisan Russia sanctions bill has been introduced. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Good afternoon, I'm Matt Templeman, live in the studio. Some things that we are working on now for new on KZI 9 News at 5 o'clock. We are taking a look at a new study out of Oregon State University and why they say President Trump's border wall could have a negative impact on wildlife. Plus a bomb scare in Junction City forcing businesses to evacuate. What police say it really was, those stories and much more new tonight on KZI 9 News at 5. Bob China.
All right, thanks. But first, it's one of the most talked about weeks on TV during the year, Shark Week. And coming up next, we'll take a sneak peek at what big and bad things the series will be diving into this year. All right, now to a sneak peek of a Shark Week special with a look at some things that could help save your life.
If you're swimming with sharks, divers are reenacting dangerous real-life shark encounters, showing you what to do if you're ever in that situation. TJ Holmes takes a look.
In the show Laws of Jaws, Shark Week is diving into what we might be doing wrong in the water.
Shark attacks happening in our oceans is a result of human behavior.
A team of shark experts unlocks keys to survival by reenacting harrowing real-life incidents.
You can avoid almost every bad incident that happens with sharks.
Was bitten in the legs about 300 miles from Costa Rica.
Diver Nick LaBeouf takes to shark-infested waters to replicate the 2017 shark encounter that led to the death of a 49-year-old scuba diver in Costa Rica. He He turns his back on the shark, who then focuses all of its attention on Nick.
Well, he's pretty locked on you, man. Turn.
The experiment proves their hypothesis. Never turn your back on a shark.
As soon as I turned around, you could see it just veer off right at the very end.
This shows and proves that, you should always maintain eye contact. It shows dominant posture, and it shows we're another predator in the water, and we don't look like prey.
Another bold experiment.
It was a little farther out than I should have been on my bodyboard. When he tore in, can't even explain or describe to you the excruciating pain.
With shark encounters with bodyboarders tripling in the last year, the team tests whether rescuers can prevent these encounters by simply splashing. Experienced shark researcher Liz Parkinson is on board at the water's surface. Her team splashes the water closer to shore.
He broke off, guys.
The shore team successfully distracts the shark, but not long enough to keep Liz out of harm's way. The effects of their distraction wear off as the bull shark gets used to it. Liz paddles for her life back to shore.
Just picked up the pace to get back to the beach. I'm just glad that it worked out safely.
Wow. That's good TV right there. Now, when the shark closes in, expert Mike Dornellis resorts to something called a percussive splash. That's a sudden sharp splash so loud it scares the shark rather than attracting attention. So interesting.
I'm going to stay right here on land and not go anywhere near where there are sharks. Let's take a look at live traffic 9 right now. We do have some slower traffic through the southern Willamette Valley, especially now through the Delta Beltline interchange, both going westbound and also going eastbound here. Once you get across that bridge, though, it does improve in both directions. And here's a look at our camera right now. The traffic moving away is that westbound traffic. The traffic moving towards is eastbound. And here is a look at your driving speeds across the area, mainly moving at about 20 miles per hour below posted speed, so allow some extra time to get through the Delta Beltline interchange. I'll have a close look at your forecast coming up next.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Wolzen.
Well, we have a pretty cool sight again along the coast with the marine clouds moving right along the coastline, but we can see not only the edge of them, but also the top of them and the bottom of them. So they're not moving extremely far inland, but you can see they are very close to the the bridge that goes over the Siuslaw River, and those clouds are moving quickly from the north to the south. Here in Coos Bay and North Bend, you can also see the marine clouds. We're looking to the southwest, so you can also see some of the smoke here through Coos County. We're seeing a lot more, especially farther to the south because of the fires burning in Curry County and also Josephine and Jackson counties a little bit farther inland, getting some of that smoke even out towards the coast. It is much cooler for the coast right now, 59 degrees. Breezy, though. Winds are out of the north at 20 miles per hour. Coolest temperatures are along the coast. We are at 59 also in Bandon, 62 for those of you in Reedsport, and it does get warmer inland all the way into the upper 90s for Roseburg and Winston and Glide, also in the mid-90s. We're seeing the mid-90s in through the Willamette Valley and also all the way up into Corvallis and Albany at 96 and 95. And of course, the coast keeping it much cooler by almost 40 degrees, where we are looking at the mid to upper 50s. Taking a look at Storm Tracker 9 satellite and radar, we are mostly clear inland. Right along the coast, we do have marine clouds. And yes, unfortunately, we do have some thunderstorms developing into Central Oregon. That is where they're going to stay. But with the thunderstorms, we could have some new wildfires started. So hopefully there's a little bit more rain than lightning, but you can tell there are a lot of lightning strikes there. It's not good news to see thunderstorms this time of year. So hopefully at least crews can get out there early or tomorrow and take a look at what is started or not started by those thunderstorms. As we take a look at Storm Tracker 9 Stormcast, we'll head through midnight tonight. Marine clouds push farther inland, though we'll keep it mostly clear through the inland valleys all the way up into the mountains. 6 a.m. not much of a change, but we'll finally see a change come closer to lunchtime tomorrow. Marine clouds push just offshore, and we'll keep it mostly clear inland through the rest of the afternoon before we move into the evening and the marine clouds push right back on shore. So for the coast tomorrow, expect your high temperatures to be in the low to mid 60s, looking at clouds and fog early and then sunshine for the afternoon. Highs will be into the mid 60s. For those of you in the Umpqua Basin, we're going to tack on a few more degrees, making a run for 100 degrees tomorrow afternoon. Still looking at some patchy smoke, otherwise plenty of sunshine. Cascade passes 90s in the foothills across the mountain passes, low low 80s. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, we're looking at mid to upper 90s tomorrow. It is going to be another hot day, and it's not going to be the only one. Out along the coast, though, this is the place you're guaranteed to see the cooler temperatures. Highs will still be in the low to mid 60s with the marine clouds moving in each evening, lingering for the first part of the morning before moving just offshore as we head closer to the lunch hour. For those of you in the Umpqua Basin, though, it's still going to be hot, near 100 degrees tomorrow and Thursday. 90s still sticking around all the way through the weekend, so do what you can to stay cool. For those of you in the Cascades or headed that way, looking at temperatures to be in the 80s for the most part. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, we will see some 80s, but not until next Monday or Tuesday. Before that, we have a lot of 90s to get through, with tomorrow and Thursday being just as hot as today, with some relief overnight. But again, it is going to be hot, so do what you can to keep cool over the next few days, guys.
Okay, thanks, Marissa. And we do have some breaking news to tell you about right now. Our reporter in the field, Macy Hyland, tells us that the cougar in Springfield has been treed and shot. Now, this was somewhere around the neighborhood of 10th and D Street, which is where the cougar was originally spotted. We're not sure if the animal was shot with a tranquilizer dart or if it was shot by an actual round, and we don't know what the condition of the animal is. But apparently a dog did, one of the hounds that they were tracking the animal with, did manage to track it into a tree, and then a sharpshooter from the Springfield police shot the animal. So we're going to get you an update for you as soon as we can, but apparently that situation, one way or another, has been resolved. All right, moving on. The devastating nuclear disaster in Japan 7 years ago could be having an impact on the wine we're drinking. I'm going to tell you how coming up on KZI 9 News at 4. People magazine is reporting that singer Demi Lovato was found unconscious today after an apparent overdose.
Yeah, a source tells People that Lovato is in stable condition now. TMZ says she was revived at her Los Angeles home after being treated with the opioid reversing drug Narcan. The 25-year-old recently celebrated 6 years of sobriety before revealing a drug relapse last month in the song Sober. She's been open about her struggles with substance abuse and mental illness.
And some California wines have been affected by a 2011 nuclear disaster in Japan.
Yeah, that's when the Fukushima nuclear plant released the radioactive isotope into the air. A radioactive cloud later made it across the Pacific to California, and French scientists now say some wines made after 2011 contain twice as much of that isotope than the years made before. The levels are too low for concern right now. Well, that does it for us here on KZI 9 News at 4. Thank you for joining us.
Yep, coming up next on KZI 9 News at 5, we're taking a close look at a new study out of Oregon State University and why they say President Trump's border wall could have a negative impact on wildlife.
Plus, a bomb scare in Junction City forcing businesses to evacuate what police say it really was. We'll have that coming up at 5.